Reaction is weakness. Response is strength. Think about it. A reaction is what happens when you get bumped in the street, and before you even realize, you're yelling back, "Watch where you're going." That's a reaction. It's blind. It's fast. It's emotional. It takes no thought, no discipline, no awareness. It's like a spark that burns out in a second, but can start a wildfire that consumes everything in its path. How many times have we reacted only to look back and regret it? How many friendships broken, opportunities lost, moments ruined, because we gave power to a reaction instead of taking control with a response. I remember moments in my own life where my reaction almost cost me more than I was willing to lose. People poked at me, doubted me, tried to provoke me, and I felt that fire rising up in my chest, ready to spill out. And in those moments, reacting felt so easy, like the only option. But the truth is, reaction is what the world expects of you. It's predictable, it's cheap, anybody can react, a child can react, a fool can react, but a man, a leader, a king, he doesn't react, he responds. He pauses, he breathes, he chooses his words, his actions, his energy with intention. When you react, you're letting the outside world control you. You're handing over the remote to your emotions, saying, "Here, push whatever button you like." But when you respond, you're taking that remote back. You're saying, "No one plays with my peace unless I allow it." That's strength. That's what separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. You want to see power? Watch someone who is insulted, who is attacked, who is underestimated, and they don't flinch. They don't curse. They don't strike back blindly. They hold their head high. And when they finally choose to act, it's measured, it's intentional, it's unstoppable. Every time you react, you're reacting from weakness, because it means the situation, the person, the insult, the problem, it controlled you. But every time you respond, you're responding from strength, because it means you controlled yourself. And in this life, the greatest victory is not conquering the world outside you, but conquering the storm inside you. Emotions are natural, but discipline is power. We were created to feel anger, joy, sadness, love, fear. They all run through our veins like fire and water. And there's nothing wrong with that. To feel is to be human. But here's where so many people get it wrong. They think because emotions are natural, emotions must always be obeyed. They believe if they're angry, they must shout. If they're jealous, they must accuse. If they're afraid, they must run. But no, that's not power. That's slavery. That's letting your emotions chain you, drag you, and rule your destiny. I've seen too many people throw away years of hard work in a single moment of undisciplined emotion. A man spends years building his career, but one heated reaction costs him his reputation. A woman spends years nurturing a relationship, but one uncontrolled outburst of jealousy shatters the trust. All because emotion stepped into the driver's seat while discipline sat in the back. Discipline is not about denying your emotions, it's about mastering them. It's about saying, "Yes, I feel this. Yes, it's burning inside me, but I will choose how I act, not my emotions." Think of an athlete. A boxer doesn't step into the ring and start swinging wild punches because he's hyped up with adrenaline. No, he channels that energy. He calculates. He chooses the right punch at the right moment. That's why he wins. That's why the disciplined fighter beats the emotional one almost every time. Life is the same way. Your emotions are the fuel, but your discipline is the steering wheel. Without the steering wheel, the car crashes. And here's the truth. Discipline doesn't come easy. It comes with practice. It comes with patience. It comes with falling, failing, and rising again until your emotions respect your command. People will tell you, follow your heart. But I say, follow your discipline. Because your heart can be fooled, your emotions can be tricked, but discipline, it stands tall when everything else shakes. That's power. That's real strength. Your silence can be louder than your words. There's a power in stillness that most people never understand because they confuse silence with weakness. They think if you don't respond, if you don't shout back, if you don't prove yourself, then you've lost. But silence, when it comes from strength, is one of the loudest statements you can ever make. It says, I don't need to waste my breath on you. I don't need to fight battles beneath me. I know who I am, and I refuse to let you drag me into your chaos. I've watched men lose everything because they couldn't keep quiet. They spoke when they should have listened. They shouted when they should have stayed still. They explained themselves to people who had already decided not to understand them. And in the end, all they did was give their power away. Silence is not about weakness, it's about control. It's about choosing not to spend your energy where it won't grow. You don't have to answer every insult. You don't have to explain yourself to every critic. Sometimes the most powerful move you can make is to look them in the eye, smile, and walk away without a single word. Picture this. Someone comes at you, raising their voice, desperate for a reaction. They want you to break. They want you to argue. They want you to explode so they can say, see, I was right about you. But you don't give them that satisfaction. You stand calm, your silence wrapping around you like armor. You don't need to prove them wrong because their own words are already exposing them. That silence, it burns them deeper than anything you could ever say. The truth is, words are cheap. Anybody can talk. But silence, that takes strength. Silence means you trust yourself enough not to rush. Silence means you know when to wait. Silence means you've learned that not every battle is worth fighting. Not every insult is worth answering. And not every storm deserves your presence. And when you carry silence like a weapon, when you choose it not out of fear but out of power, the whole world takes notice. Because nothing unsettles the noisy more than the calm of the unshaken. Life tests you not by what happens, but how you respond. The truth is, life doesn't promise us a smooth road. It doesn't guarantee fairness, comfort, or constant happiness. What it does guarantee are challenges, moments that will push you, break you, and shake everything you think you know about yourself. But those moments, they're not the test itself. The test isn't the storm, it's what you do inside the storm. Because the rain falls on everybody, the wind blows against everybody, but not everybody stands tall when it comes. I've seen people crushed by the same situations others used as stepping stones. Two men can lose their jobs on the same day. One spirals into bitterness and blame. The other uses it as fuel to rebuild himself stronger. Two women can go through heartbreak. One lets it define her worth. The other turns her pain into power. The difference isn't in what happened to them, it's in how they responded. That's where the test lies. When life throws its worst at you, your instinct will scream at you to react, to cry out, to rage, to let fear or anger take the wheel. But the real strength is in the pause, the breath you take before the action. That moment when you say, I can't control the storm, but I can control my sails. That's what life is watching. That's what defines you. Not the tragedy, not the betrayal, not the loss, but the way you carry yourself through it. Think about the strongest people you know, the ones you look up to. It's not because nothing bad ever happened to them. It's because they faced the same storms you face, maybe even worse, but they didn't let those storms drown them. They responded with resilience, with courage, with a refusal to be broken. And that's why they inspire us, because we see in them what we hope to find in ourselves. Life will always ask you one question over and over again. Not what happened to you, but what did you do when it happened? And your answer every time is the measure of who you are. True greatness comes from mastering your inner world. We live in a time where everyone is chasing control. Control over money, over status, over other people's opinions. But the truth is, the only real control you'll ever have is over yourself. You can't control the weather. You can't control the economy. You can't control the way people treat you, but you can control your attitude. You can control your choices. You can control the voice inside your head that says, stand up, keep going, don't quit. That's mastery. And that's where greatness begins. I've met people with every material success you can imagine: cars, houses, fame, applause. But inside, they were lost, broken, slaves to their own emotions. And I've met others with little to their name, yet they carried a peace, a fire, a strength that could not be touched. What made the difference? Mastery of the inner world. See, it doesn't matter how tall the building is if the foundation is cracked. In the same way, it doesn't matter how much you achieve on the outside if you haven't built discipline, peace, and focus on the inside. Greatness is not about shouting louder than others. It's about being so steady within yourself that nothing outside can shake you. When temptation comes, you don't bow. When insults fly, you don't flinch. When opportunities arrive, you don't let fear paralyze you. You move with clarity because you've trained your mind and heart to serve you, not enslave you. That's mastery. That's greatness. And here's the beautiful thing: mastery isn't built overnight. It's a daily fight, a daily practice. Every morning you wake up, life hands you two voices. One that pulls you down with doubt, anger, or laziness, and one that lifts you up with courage, patience, and focus. Greatness is choosing again and again to follow the stronger voice inside. It's not about perfection. It's about progress. It's not about never falling. It's about rising quicker each time you do. Because the one who conquers the self, who wins the war within, is the one who cannot be defeated by anything outside. That is true greatness. So hear me when I say this: stop reacting. Stop letting the world pull your strings like a puppet. Reaction is weakness. Response is strength. Your emotions will always rise, but discipline is what turns that fire into light instead of destruction. Your silence, when chosen with wisdom, will echo louder than any angry word you could ever speak. Life will not test you with comfort, it will test you with chaos. But remember, it's not what happens to you, it's what you do when it happens. And if you master yourself, your thoughts, your emotions, your choices, then there is nothing, no storm, no enemy, no obstacle that can defeat you. The real battlefield is not out there, it's in here. Inside your mind, inside your heart, inside your spirit. Win that battle, and you win every other fight that comes your way. So the next time the world pushes you, the next time someone tries to provoke you, the next time life hands you pain, Breathe. Stand tall. Don't react. Respond. Because your future, your peace, your greatness, they're all waiting on the other side of your discipline. Now go. Take your power back and show the world what it means to live with control, with strength, with greatness. Because the strongest man is not the one who conquers others, it's the one who conquers himself.